Dear students, in this section you will learn about the concept of impulse and how you can apply it to variety of interesting situations. You will learn about the relationship between the impulse and momentum and how to calculate the impulse through variety of the examples. Before we can define impulse, we need to talk about concept of momentum. Momentum is measure of strength and measure of how difficult to stop a moving object. An object that is not moving has zero momentum. A slow moving large object has the large momentum. A fast moving small object also has the large momentum. For example, if a ping pong ball and a cricket ball have the same velocity, then cricket ball has the larger momentum because it is having the greater mass than the ping pong ball. You know the formula for the linear momentum is mass multiplied by velocity. But how the momentum is related with the impulse? You can say when a force acts on an object for a short duration of the time, impulse is the measure of how much the force changes the momentum of an object. This force is called the impulsive force. As the impulsive, you can say reactive force, you can say impulsive force as reaction force also. This impulsive force varies rapidly without following any definite rule. So, it is neither essential nor practical to use the instantaneous force to track any change in velocity of the momentum of the body during short interval of the time. You can say, suppose two objects are colliding and during collision a large force develops, that is called the impulsive force. So, it is not practical to define the instantaneous force during collision. Here we use the term impulse. That is a measure of how much the momentum changes as a result of force acting on it during a short interval of time. Let us define this term mathematically. Mathematically, we define J equal to final momentum minus initial momentum, and we define final momentum as P final and initial momentum as P initial. So, we can say the impulse is nothing but change in linear momentum. Now, again come to the Newton's second law of motion. According to Newton's second law, the rate at which the body momentum changes equal to the net external force acting on the body. That is, rate of change of the linear momentum is equal to the net external force acting on the system. So, mathematically we can write F equal to dp by dt. Here F is nothing but external force, net external force acting on the system, and dp by dt is the net rate of change of linear momentum with respect to time. We can rearrange this equation. We can write here F dt equal to dp. Let us further rearrange this equation, dp equal to F dt, and now you can observe we can take the integration of the both sides with the proper limit, and limit here is p initial to p final, and here time limit is t initial to t final. Here the integral, this integral can be written as p, and with the proper limit we can simplify it to p final minus p initial. But right side integral we cannot calculate because F is the impulsive force and we cannot define the impulsive force by mathematical relation because it is very complicated to define. So, here we can simply write P final minus P initial equal to J, and further it is equal to F dt integral T initial to T final. So, we have defined here impulse mathematically, and again we can say it is equal to change in linear momentum. Now, we can say if we add impulse to the initial momentum, we can get the final momentum. So, here we can write P initial plus integral F dt with the time limit T initial to T final equal to P final. This is nothing but impulse. Here we can further simplify this expression and write initial momentum plus impulse of force F equal to final momentum. And this useful equation is called the impulse momentum equation. And we can further rearrange this equation. In place of this mathematical relation, we can write J So this relation will become P initial plus J equal to P final. You can observe here, this P is a vector quantity, that means J is also the vector quantity, and J is equal to integral f dt, that means the direction of the force is same as the direction of the impulse. Now let us talk about impulsive forces. When a force of relatively higher magnitude act on a relatively short time interval, it is referred as an impulsive force. An impulsive force can change the momentum of a body by a finite magnitude in a very short time interval. Impulsive force is a relative term. There is no clear demarcation between the impulsive and non-impulsive forces. Let us talk about some type of the impulsive and non-impulsive forces again. The forces which are finite and slow, that can be defined easily, cannot be impulsive forces. So we can say gravitational force and spring force are always non-impulsive. Correct? Now we come across the normal reaction, tension force, friction force, etc. So here we can say normal reaction, tension force and friction force depend on the case, because the duration of the contact of the two surfaces may be slow and very fast. So the normal reaction, tension force and friction force are the case dependent, and we will discuss in which cases the normal reaction, tension force and friction force may be impulsive and in which cases these are non-impulsive. An impulsive force can only balance another impulsive force. We cannot balance impulsive force with a non-impulsive force. So an impulsive force can balance another impulsive force. In the second point, you can observe we have discussed the normal reaction, tension force and friction force are case dependent. Let us discuss in which situation these forces are impulsive and in which situation these forces are non-impulsive. So first we are going to discuss impulsive, normal reaction and friction. You know, during collision, two objects come in contact during a very short interval, and during this short interval the velocity, you can say linear momentum of the object, changes abruptly. That means a very large force acts during that interval of time. So we can say during collision the normal reaction of the surface of collision is always impulsive. And if normal reaction is impulsive, we know in case of the sliding, friction force is the mu multiplied by normal reaction. If normal reaction is impulsive, that means friction may also be impulsive. Now let us learn the normal reaction again, in which case impulsive and which case is non-impulsive. As we discussed, let us observe this through a diagram. You can observe in this diagram, if I place this ball gently on the ground like this, the contact between the ball and surface, there will be normal reaction. And this normal reaction is non-impulsive. Why non-impulsive? Because this normal reaction is finite and it is always equal to mg. So this is non-impulsive. Now if I release this ball from the side like this, in this case collision occur, and if collision occur, the normal reaction between the surface and the ball is impulsive nature. So this normal reaction will be impulsive. Correct? Now let us take one more situation. In this situation you can observe this wedge is placed on a rough horizontal surface and this ball strikes the wedge on this vertical face of the wedge, and here we are going to investigate in which surface normal reaction and friction force is impulsive or non-impulsive. So let us strike this ball with the vertical face of this wedge like this. You can observe surface in contact is here and bottom surface of the wedge, and you know, when this ball collide or hit the wedge start moving the leftward direction. That means the sliding occur between the two surfaces, the friction will appear, and we will also observe this friction is impulsive or non-impulsive. So let us first make the free body diagram for the normal reaction and friction force. these are the normal reaction between the wedge and ground, and these are the normal reaction between the ball and wedge. And as we discussed, in case of the collision, the normal reaction of the surface is always impulsive. So this normal reaction on the wedge and this normal reaction on the ball is impulsive nature. So we can say impulsive normal reaction here. Now we can say this impulsive reaction is horizontal. We cannot have any component of the horizontal force in the vertical direction. That means the normal reaction applied by ground on the wedge should be finite and it is equal to weight of the wedge. So this normal reaction is non-impulsive, and the pair of the normal reaction, you can say this and this is non-impulsive. And as we know, there is sliding friction, and sliding friction equal to mu multiplied by normal reaction between two surfaces. That is, the normal reaction between these two surfaces non-impulsive. That means the friction force here and here is non-impulsive nature. Now let us take one more situation. Here you can observe same type of the situation, but the difference is, in this case the ball strike on the sloping surface. There is friction between the wedge and ground. So let us collide this ball with a sloping surface like this. Now let us investigate which normal reaction and friction force is impulsive and non-impulsive nature. So let us draw the normal reaction again. Here bottom surface and between the ball and wedge. Collision occur at this surface, and colliding surface where collision occur, the normal reaction is always impulsive nature. So these normal reaction you can say impulsive nature. Now you can observe here the component of the normal reaction in vertical direction will apply on this wedge like this. And we know any impulsive force can be balanced by another impulsive force. This wedge is not jumping in the vertical direction. That means we need to balance the force in the vertical direction, and any impulsive reaction can be balanced by only another impulsive reaction, and here ground can provide any amount of the force. So this normal reaction between the ground and wedge should be impulsive, and if this is impulsive, this should also be impulsive. So we can say the normal reaction pair is impulsive. And there is a sliding between two surfaces. That is, friction nature is kinetic, and kinetic friction force is mu multiplied by normal reaction between two surfaces, and here the normal reaction is impulsive. That means the friction should be impulsive nature. These friction you can observe is impulsive friction. Here we discussed normal reaction and friction force, in which situation can be impulsive and which situation it is non-impulsive. Now let us discuss about the impulsive tension. You can observe here a sphere of certain mass is attached with the string and finally with the rope. And here is a particle. Suppose I throw the particle toward the center of the sphere like this. You can observe here the collision occur. And if collision occur here, two surfaces are in contact, and we know colliding surfaces always have the impulsive normal reaction. So if we draw the free body diagram, the normal reaction between these two surfaces, here you can observe here, normal reaction between these two surfaces is impulsive. And before collision occur, the tension in the string is nothing but weight of the bob. But if collision occur, the direction of the normal reaction, that is the impulsive, is horizontal. We cannot have any component of this horizontal reaction in the vertical direction. That means this tension cannot be affected by the normal reaction, that is the impulsive normal reaction. That means the tension force in the string is non-impulsive nature in this case. But suppose I make certain change here like this. If I throw the ball now, or you can say if I throw a particle toward the center of the bob like this, And here you can observe the normal reaction between the particle and bob. It is not horizontal. It is inclined at certain angle with the horizontal or vertical, you may say. So here you can observe this normal reaction pair, certainly impulsive. First let us write this impulsive. Now you can observe here the impulsive force acting on this bob is inclined at certain angle. It may have the component in the vertical direction. So here you can observe we need to balance this impulsive force in the vertical direction, because string is not breaking, bob is not moving in the vertical direction. That means in vertical direction forces are balanced, and any impulsive force is balanced by another impulsive force, and here is the string that can provide the impulsive force. So here you can say this tension is not the finite tension, this is the impulsive tension. This tension will increase all of a sudden to a large value, and after some time it will disappear. And you can observe here the component of this impulse in the horizontal direction. What it will do? It will provide the bob horizontal velocity. So bob will start moving in the circular path. So we discussed here about the impulsive tension, impulsive normal reaction, and impulsive friction force.
Dear aspirants, Cengage India has launched the new edition of our JEE Advanced Physics books. Please visit www.cengage.co.in to buy a copy. You can also buy the books from Amazon or Flipkart.